Good morning and welcome back to Tabletop Tuesday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today, for our first video of 2024, I wanted to talk about Board Game Stats. It is a companion app available on both Android and Apple devices to basically track your board game plays. Now, it also gives you all sorts of tools as far as tracking and how many times you've played a game, who you've played with, where you've played, when you played, what games you played, etc. I mean, it literally gives you all sorts of stuff. And I've been using it for a few years, and I really like it. It's a fantastic program. It's pretty funny because in the circles that I follow for board games, the question is constantly coming up as far as how do you track your plays? There are all sorts of options. Obviously you could write it down on a piece of paper or a notebook. I've seen people write down on the inside of the box cover who won the last game. Board Game Geek has options for tracking your plays. There's all sorts of options available. But this one, I'll be honest, is my personal favorite because of the fact that I just keep it on my devices and just take it with me. I usually use my iPad, but for this video, I will be showing the iPhone just because I could do a clean install there. But you can export your feature, you can save everything, so it's actually really handy. So before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few videos each week, and for 2024, I'm going to try being better about just regular posting of board game reviews. So do make sure that you're subscribed and come along to see what we have to share. There are also links down below to both Amazon and DriveThruRPG. They are affiliate links that do help out the channel if you choose to use those shopping platforms. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so as I said, I'm going to start by showing off from the app, mostly because it's a clean install. I put my friends' names in, first names, last names, and it shows on pretty much every single page. And just in the interest of their privacy, I'm choosing not to show it. I have modified my iPad so that I can show off a couple of different things as we get into it, but for initial setup, how you start using everything, I figured we would start there. Now, it is a paid-for app. It is on Apple and Google. It is it's $4.99 on Apple, $5.99 on Google. The one purchase did let me install it on both my iPad and my iPhone. So you really only have to pay for it once. There are a couple of upgrades, but we'll get into those here in a little bit. So this first screen, this is just your welcome screen. It's still waiting for new data, but also it's the overview. So it's just kind of give you so this says daily plays and how much time for the last 3 weeks, and it'll actually show like a little wavy graph. And then it'll show, in this case, for the last 26 weeks. It'll also track your collection, so how many games you own, how many base games, how many expansions, how many unowned games that you've played, so you went over to a friend's house, how many are on your wish list, and how many you want to play. So you can track a lot of that as well. Now, personally, I don't put expansions in it, but they've probably done some updates. I do have to look into that. I just track based on the base game, because me personally, usually when we're playing it with expansions, it's kind of set. So in my head, I know what we're doing. I don't need to track, specific expansions. But that's just me. Now down here, it will also put in a little pie chart of which days of the week you tend to play more often, and then also a pie chart for the number of players, whether it's 2 players, 10 players, 1 player, however you want to track it. So that's the general overview. Now, If we go into plays, it'll show how many plays are there, what games we've got, how many players. So let's do this. Oh, and also it'll let you track your location. So let's start with this. Let's add a player. So you're just going to click on the plus sign and you get to put in a player name. So we're going to put in gaming with ADHD. You can put in an image. So in this case, it lets you take a picture, but you can also, it lets you take a picture, but you can also just select from your library. So we will use, let's use the 2023 Christmas Drama Llama, and I'll say that this is me. You can also put in the Board Game Geek username, Board Game Arena, and Yukata, which I am not familiar with at all. You can also set it as a non-player, so you need to put something in for, yeah, basically you can exclude people from tracking. So we'll go ahead and we'll save that. So we've got me in as a player. So then a game, we're going to put in my favorite game that I have not actually, I haven't actually done a review yet. I don't know why, but whatever, we'll do that. So you put in the name of the game and then there's a link to just search Board Game Geek. And then it'll pull up a list. I realize this isn't coming through so great on the camera, but I'm doing my best. But we're just going to go with the basic games. Where's just plain Carcass? Oh, there it is. Sometimes the images don't update so quickly, but there we go. So we've got Carcassonne. It'll put the picture in it. You can come in and add your collection status. I do own it. You can put in your price paid. Where did you buy it? When did you buy it? Comments. Where do you keep it? Other details, trade condition. Do you need parts? Do you have parts? Things like that. So, I mean, you can put all sorts of stuff in there. So we'll just leave it at that. It's just that I own it. Let's see. So then it'll tell you how many players, how long it's supposed to take, age. Yeah, so it's going to give you all sorts of information. I'll be honest, I'm kind of relearning some of these bits and pieces because I've just gotten used to using it my way. This is my first time looking at it in a brand new setup as opposed to one that I've already got. But you can also set for the default scoring settings. So no winners and losers, just playing the game. The score, highest wins, lowest wins, or there isn't a score, so it's either win or lose. Cooperative, and then play in teams. So we've got that. All right, so we've got a game added and a location. Let's do this. We're gonna put in, because this is YouTube, so we're gonna say we played it on YouTube. So then we come over to plays. Now, for plays, you're going to come over here. There's a little play button that is not showing. Okay, right here, this little triangle. So we're going to push the play button. And then so you can either pick the game in the list. So if you had a bunch of games, you could do that. Or if you have a new game, you can actually hit the plus and just add a game right away, and that'll select it for you. We've already got Carcassonne, so we're going to do that. We can then come in and we can select our players. There's me, and you can even set in anonymous players. So just random people that you found on the side of the street and you said, hey, would you like to play Carcassonne? And they say, sure, for whatever reason. All right. So we're going to add 3 anonymous players. And so then it's going to come through and lay all of that out. It does give you an indicator, these little stars, if that is your first time in this app playing the game. Then you can actually come in and There's more information. You can put in the score. If you're playing like a dungeon crawl kind of game, you can actually put in, oh, well, Game with ADHD was the dwarf, and Bear the Gen X GM was the mallard, and Mage's Musings was the wizard. You can put all of that in as far as what role. There's no roles in Carcassonne, so we're not doing that. And then you can also start mark if it's the start player, what the starting position was. Like I said, you're getting all sorts of information out of this. So there's tons of bits. So I'm just going to say that I was the start player. We're going to save that. You can specify the location. Only location I have in there is YouTube, obviously. The one nice thing about the app, you can be adding all of this information as you go. You don't have to do what I did where you go in and set everything up and then go in and create the game. You can just create the game and just add your players, add the game, everything, all from that adding a play screen. All right. You can also specify how long the game played. We're going to say it took an hour. You can mark down the number of rounds, things like that. All right. And so then just because we're going to just come in and we're going to do the scoring. So Anonymous 1 got 85 points, 2 got 25, and 3 got 68. And I almost beat him, but I only got to 82 points. So you can come in, and then you just hit save. It'll track all of that. And then when you come in, you'll start seeing a list of all of your plays. It tells you when you played it, and then you can open it up, and it'll tell you what. So in this case, it says 3 anonymous players. If you have specific names, you can put those. It'll show those, and then it actually will show like their win percentage. Things like that. So it again breaks it all down. All right. So now in the overview, you can see the days of the week, the number of players. It shows this, so it'll show the number of plays compared to the amount of time that you spent playing. So it basically gives you graphs so that you can see that. My personal favorite is the insights page. This lets you look at it based on month, year, or all, or you can set a custom date range. But then it'll tell you the plays, the locations, the number of players, the number of named players, the H index, which is kind of interesting. The H index is the number of games, how many games played how many times. So if you have if you have 2 games that you've played 2 times, your H index is 2. If you have 5 games you've played 2 times, your H index is still 2. If you play 5 games 5 times, then you have an H index of 5. So again, number of games versus number of plays. That gives you your H index. So then it tells you how many games, how many were your copy, how many were new to you, and then how much time and how many days you've spent playing. Again, you're going to get charts based on the days of the week, the location, the player counts, and it just breaks everything down. And then over here, it will tell you who you played with. So let's see. So let's move this out of the way. Actually, I just realized I should show you. So here is my action. It's not showing very well at all. Okay, if I put it at this weird angle, you can kind of see. I probably should have looked to see if there's a way that I could capture my iPhone or my iPad on screen. But basically, you're going to get, little graphs. Here's a whole list. This is for August of 2023. Then breaks down, what days you played on. Same deal for the year. Same deal for all. So I have had the app since 2019. And so which year did I play more? And then here are the games. This then breaks it down even further. So fives, dimes, quarters, and centuries. So basically, how many times have you played those games? My best one so far is Carcassonne at 51 games. Like I said, Carcassonne's my favorite. So, with that said, that is board game stats. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. All right. So, challenges lets you come in and specify how you would like to play. So, in this case, I fail every year, but so we did a 100 plays challenge for 2023. Just play play games 100 times. I got to 83. I tried to do a 100 by 1 challenge. I only played 32 different games last year. A 10 by 10 challenge. A 10 by 10 is where you play 10 games 10 times, and I managed to play 54 times total that would count towards that. And I believe it was only, yes, it was 2 games. Alhambra and Carcassonne managed to get to 10. So I'm bad at this. But again, it gives you a breakdown of how you went. Personally, I usually, like for a 10 by 10, I will just let it calculate whatever, because we just kind of play as is. We don't necessarily schedule, oh, we have to get this game in. So as we play, it starts populating. So that's a nice feature of it as well. But overall, if you're going to play board games and you haven't seen board game stats, I highly recommend checking it out. The app is really good. It's being updated all the time. Sometimes it's minor updates, sometimes it's much more significant updates, but it is fun, and it has made me want to play games more. Now, end of the year, some things came up, so I actually played very little over November and December, even though I probably should have been playing more. But regardless, it's a way to help me keep motivated, because I want to meet the challenges, or I want to just see who I'm playing with, what games I've been able to play, when am I playing more often, things like that. It's a fantastic tool. The fact that you can get it on your phone or on a tablet and just take it with you, export your data, move it around. It's very, very convenient, super, super useful. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give the video a like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'll be bringing out definitely more board game content this year, and I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to share. So with all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.